Today we have decided to worship the Yogeshwara. I think that is the greatest name of Sri Krishna for us. That means he is the Ishvara of yoga. Yoga means the union, as you know, with the divine. But also yoga has another meaning, which means yukti. In English language, to translate it properly not possible. We can call it as yukti means the trick. The trick. But trick is always connected with something funny and bad. But this yukti means the technique. The technique is mechanical. So I couldn't find any proper word for yukti. But one can say it is the to know the technique and the trick of the technique is also another meaning of yoga, yukti. So even if you are connected, if you do not know the trick of the union, then it is useless. It is of no avail. So, what one has to learn after getting realization, not only the technique, but the trick of the technique. At Krishna's level, when we reach, it is an incarnation after Sri Rama's. So Sri Rama came as a Maryada Purushottama, means a person who is an complete ideal of Maryadas and a benevolent king. But in the case of Sri Krishna, it was a different phase because people had become extremely serious, very disciplined, and were leading a life which was, we can say, over dharmic. And this had put the people at a level fixed. And they thought that if you are doing all these things every day, then it's all right, we have reached the last. So Sri Krishna had to come. Himself, Sri Vishnu, came as Sri Krishna to tell us about the ascent, and that all this just a play. But only a person who is a master of the play can do the play. So to know the play, supposing you have communication, electrical communications you have. Now you don't know how to play with it. Play. Not how to know or how to connect, but to play. Supposing only you know all the technique, then it becomes quite a headache. Because all the time you think you are doing it, you have to do this, and this has to be done, that has to be done, and this connection is not all right, that should be properly connected. You get tired and bored. But if it's a play for you, just a play, for any master it's a play. If it's just a play for you, then you don't feel tired, it's fun, it's fun. And that is what is Leela. That's why it's called as Leeladhar. Because he's a master. He came as a master. Master not as a guru, but master of all the arts of this yoga, yukti. So he's so deft. He's so capable that for him it's a play. All this is a play for him. And this is what one has to know, that in yoga, everything that you do should be just a play. Say getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning should be play. In the morning you get up, say it's not yet, the sun has not come to suggest what you have to do, and the moon has departed. And in that twilight or a little darkness you get up. It's very beautiful. And that time you sit down for your dhyan. But it's not a serious thing. It's not something that is boring. It's a play. But for that you have to be a master. If you are the master of yoga, then it's a play. So the first Sri Rama's state has to be there, where you become really Vishwanirmala Dharmi, so that it becomes your play. Now communication with the divine has to go to the whole world. Whole world has to get this communication that you have received. For this part, Sri Krishna arranged something in his lifetime in a very simple way as a child. Very childish, it looks very childlike. Like when the gopis were taking their bath, he hid their clothes. Indian women are never fully nude, never. Hid their saris and all that. And you could see their back. This little boy. What is for a little boy? He's sitting on a tree and he's trying to raise their kundalini. They are coming out of the river Jamuna, which is being vibrated by Radha. Already there are vibrations raising their kundalini. Then they are taking the water and he breaks their pitchers from the back, which has also got vibrated water. So the vibrated water falls on the back of these ladies and he tries to awaken their kundalini. See the play of a child. How he tried to play in his childhood, just like a child. And then he shows later on his childlike expertise in dealing with politics, with dealing with people, with communication and everything. And his power was Radha. Radha. Ra means energy, Dha means the one which sustains. Radha. So the Dharayati sa dharma, as they say, in the same way, Radha, the one who sustains the energy. So the first quality that he got from her is she is Ahladadaini. There's no word, I couldn't find any word in English for Ahlad. Ahlad is when you suddenly see something nice and joy starts. Just very happy. But there are very few words in English, as you know, for translation, for joy or at the most happiness. But Ahlad is a kind of a joy which, as you see, you get the fresh air. Then how you feel. That is Ahlad. So she is Ahladadaini. She is the one who is the giver of Ahlada. And so, with her powers, he could work out this Ahlad to all the people with whom he was connected. So all the Gop and Gopis who were with him had to do Ras. Ra is energy, Sa means with. to dance with the energy that is Radhaji. He used to just play the flute and she used to dance. The energy used to pass through her hands to all the other people and the Kundalini would be awakened. So this was another play that year. So in the play only he raised the Kundalini. But in modern times it's very difficult. It's not easy to raise Kundalinis in modern times that way. I mean, nobody will understand also. So in modern times, when Sahaja Yoga is not just raising the Kundalini, but giving the complete knowledge about Sahaja Yoga and also empowering the person with the power to give others realization, it was a tremendous task. And that's why we had to find out these methods by which we could give realization to people. In those days, Kundalini were awakened, but it was not that Sahasrara was broken. So Kundalini must be somewhere hanging in the Agya, maybe at heart, maybe somewhere. And such people became the seekers. And that's how we find today people are here as Sahaja Yogis whose Sahasraras are open and they know all the yukti of Sahaja Yoga. But there are subtler and subtler yuktis of Sahaja Yoga, which you have to master. The first is that his character was madhurya, meaning the sweetness. Sweetness. We always say sweet like honey. So when he talked to anyone or he communicated with anyone, it was through sweetness. And this communication, if you have not developed, then you are nowhere near yoga. To talk to someone sweetly, automatically, everything is madhurya for him. His talking, his actions, his face, everything is madhurya. So when we talk of communications, first of all, the greatest thing is the communication between human beings. And when we have to think of the communication with the human beings, many people think that by aggression you will communicate better, which is not true. I mean, if somebody wants to get something out of someone, say, so you go there and just talk. I have to have, how can you do it? This, that. As it is, it's no. But if you are sweet and start talking sweetly, then 99% will definitely dissolve. So to dissolve people with sweetness, how to do it, that trick one has to learn. How with sweetness you can dissolve people. This is one of his special qualities, that you talk to someone in such a manner, genuinely, in a very sweet manner, and the problem between you and that person will be dissolved. Absolutely. Now there are many tricks. How to talk to someone is one of the biggest things one has to learn. First of all, you must always show that you are less intelligent than another person. Like I'm talking to scientists, I will say, I'm sorry, I don't know any science, no good for scientists. So they feel, oh, very good. If you have to talk to some musician, you must say, I don't know any music. No, I've learned little bit, but not much. Musician feels very happy. You may call it a pampering of the ego. You may call it. But there's no harm in saying that I am nothing compared to you. So the first trick is complete humility when you talk to another person. It's a sign of greatness. It's a sign of fulfillment. As the trees, when they are laden with fruits, they bend down. So the first of all, if you say, I am no one, I don't understand anything, but I would like to hear. This is first. First quality of communication is to be extremely humble about yourself. The another person should not know who you are. And there's a lot of fun in it. Say for example now, I can say about myself that my husband was very highly placed in India. But I met a friend in Delhi. She was studying with me in school and in college. And she asked me, where do you live? I told her in Meena Bagh, which was just a useless, small little place meant for very ordinary officers because they had not allotted us any house or anything. So temporarily we were there. She said, what is your husband doing? I said, doing so with some government servant. I didn't tell her. He came down. So he just looked at me, smiled. He said, do you know him? I said, he's my husband. She was shocked. He's your husband? Oh my God. Why didn't you tell me? Immediately the whole thing changed. And she felt so ashamed of herself. She had started looking down upon me that I'm married to some clerk or someone or something. So, the best thing is to play down. Play down everything. Now, I know of certain Sahajogis, they say, oh, mother has given me such powers, I can do this, I can do that. This boastfulness is of no use. I haven't got any powers, you see. I am a Sahajogi, that's all. But if you want, I can try. So, is to play down as much as you can. Practice this at home. First practice and then don't do it. So that is one of the greatest qualities of communication with others.